Welcome, Shifu the Cards here, and I'm doing a another Gwent video, and I'd like to thank the millions of people that have written me. It's been overwhelming. Well, maybe not millions. I would like to thank the thousands. Maybe not thousands. I'd like to thank the 3 people that wrote me and really touched them about my other decks that I've done. It meant a lot. And I'd like to also thank CD Projekt Red. Gamescon is now over. It was a very successful show. I'm very proud of all the efforts they did. It was an amazing show. Somehow they were able to pick up the pieces. I was not able to make it. But they were able to kind of just put that behind them and put on a good show, acting like it wasn't even important if I was there or not. So it was very great. Good job, guys. Keep up the good work. So today I am looking at a deck of mine called That Which Endures, and that is not the right. That's the right one. That was product placement on my video. Thank you. That Which Endures, and this is one of my first decks I made for GwentDB.com. It is one of my most popular decks. It is actually the #1 rated Soyatel deck on that site. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of all my deck rankings. And what it was, another famous YouTube streamer, more famous than myself, hard to believe, I know, but King Blacktooth did a review on my alpha version. And I should have told him, you know, we're good friends, and I should have told him, I said, King, this is a pre-alpha version. This is what I call pre-alpha version 0.17100675. 2354 version of this deck is nowhere near complete. It's still in the pre-alpha, so it's, you know, it's rough. But since that other time, since Gamescon, there's been a lot more cards were introduced, and so let me break it down for you. And I really thank you for watching this, everybody. And this deck, I think, is one of the better decks that I've designed, and here's why. It was based off of That Which Endures, which is a very, you know, you'll see why. It's built off of the Mahakman Guard. It's hard to say because you kind of see there was a dinger. I was very excited. The Mahakman Guard, because you feel like you almost want to kind of spit up afterwards. Mahakman Guard, and what they do is they stay on the battlefield. They're resilient, and that's where this deck is based off of. It's resilient. It stays on the battlefield. It doesn't go anywhere. It's kind of like that turkey dinner I had last night. It just kind of stays there. But in this case, it's good. So what they do is they stay there and they add presence to the board. Then CD Projekt Red had probably heard about my deck designs. I'm famous in some circles, and they decided to add some cards to it to really flesh out this Mahakman Guard. They said They said to themselves, "That's a good deck, but what if we gave him more tools to work with, more tools in the tool belt?" And then they gave me the Dwarven Mercenary, resilient, easier to pronounce, better in all ways, really, and resilient, so it stays on the battlefield. And that right there is good. But I like mustard, not mustard. I do like mustard. That's a different video. Not going to bore you. But muster, in terms of Gwent, is when you call you play a unit like the Blue Mountain Commando, for example, and they play every copy of this card from deck and hand and the graveyard. And the graveyard part is what makes it a very resilient muster. So what happens is turn 1 you play Blue Mountain Commando. The rest of them come to the battlefield. The round's over, or he scorches them, whatever. They go to the graveyard. Hello, the Havkaren Healer comes in, brings 1 back, which then brings them all back, hence the term resilience. So synergizes with the Mahakman Guard and the Dwarven Mercenary. Then you go to the Dalbathana Marksman. Again, play every copy from deck, hand, graveyard, resilient muster. Then I found this one from Gamescon, Dalbathana Trapper. This kind of cool. Okay, this is resilient ambush, but not necessarily muster. Draw and play every copy of this card from either deck or hand whenever this card leaves the battlefield. If there's ever resilience, this one doesn't stay on the battlefield, but when he goes to the graveyard from the battlefield, his friends take his place on the battlefield. I call that friendship resilience theme. And then we have Zoltan, resilient hero. So you have the Mahakman Guard. It's stays on the battlefield. The Dwarven Mercenaries stay on the battlefield. The Blue Mountain Commandos go back from the graveyard to the battlefield resiliently. The Dahlblufana Marksman the same way. The Dahlblufana Trappers, when they leave, his friends take his place on the battlefield, thereby staying on the battlefield. And the Hofkaran Healers brings everybody back. So then I was thinking, okay, so there's that. That's the first pillar, resiliency. But there's 4 pillars in this deck. So what's the second pillar? Inspire. Pump up. And in that case, we added Encourage. The Vrihad Vanguard increases strength of every non-hero unit. So all these people get buffed, not puffed. If they get puffed, it'd be different. It's very disgusting. Dandelion, Inspire. And then Saskia. Now Saskia is very important. Oh, and of course Commander's Horns as well. But you've probably seen them before. There you go, Commander's Horns. But Saskia is where my deck developed the third pillar. Okay, so we have the resiliency. We have the resiliency through the graveyard. We have the resiliency in general. We have the pump-ups, Dandelion, the Vrihad Vanguard, Saskia. But then she has another thing she can do. She can give me a different vent, much like the Witcher, where you choose your own path. Either Incinerate or Inspire. So I can Inspire or Incinerate. And that led me to my third tenet. Control, Domination, Incineration. So I added Geralt. Now before, with my resiliency deck, I had Ciri, because if I lose round 1, she comes back round 2. But Geralt gives me offensive. Instead of losing, I can kind of take away. He's a good anti-monster deck, as you would imagine, as he is a Witcher. So he can Scorch him, or he can blast away the frost on the battlefield, which is great against the Wild Hunt cards, or the frost mechanics of the monsters. So Geralt would be good for my anti-monster tech. I know. Only one would never think of that. Then I decided to keep that theme. Triss. Incinerate or Fairweather. Fairweather in terms if I'm playing somebody that's a weather control, or not necessarily a weather buff like the monsters, but let's say Northern Realms. They want to control the board with weather. She then clears it out for me. And then I went ahead and went with Dragon Controls. I love that. Akvist is a ranged Scorch, and Mitterbrock is the Siege Scorch. So I have control. I have Scorch, 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 and literally Scorch. And then the fourth part is search engines. So I have Sheldon Skaggs and the Operator. And the most important, my hero, Bruverhoog. So Bruverhoog is so key. Basically, what you want to do is you want to be a knowledgeable Gwent player. You want to know who you're playing against. You want to kind of think to yourself, what could they be running? And Bruverhoog allows you to get it. So if you're playing a Northern Realms deck, heavy on Siege, maybe you go for him. And then you bring him back to your hand with him, or bring him back from the graveyard with him. You see the synergy. Or let's say you're playing Northern Realms, and you don't get a good opening. You don't get a Mahakman Guard, but you get Sheldon Skaggs. Well, you can go ahead and grab a Dwarven Mercenary. You can grab a healer if you have one of these guys in your hand. You can use this deck of all decks I've seen really utilizes Bruverhoog's ability the best, because you have 4 different ways that you can grab. So you can grab a Resilient. You can grab a Graveyard Resilient. You can have a Graveyard Resilient Activator. You can grab a Scorch card. You can grab a Pumpable. So you can grab whatever you need for the situation, and it makes this deck very synergistic and very good. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I know that there are millions and millions of fans of mine that have never even seen me, and this is really for them. So thank you guys. Thank you CD Projekt Red. Thank you the Gwent Discord server, which you can find at the Gwent Discord server. Please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I put a lot of years into this video, a lot of tears, and it's been a special video for us. And this is not by any means the final version. This is I would say, if I'm going to be very realistic, this is the beta version 2.765, 9.8 tomato. And so we're going to get to more decks as we go. Shifu the Cards signing off. Thank you all for watching. And again, to the millions and millions of people that don't actually watch but I know that you can see me. This one's for you. Have a good day. All right, finally got one.